Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to an eerie, inexplicable noise. It's not just in your head, it's real. You feel pressure bearing down, like an invisible force gripping your skull. You can't escape it, and you're not alone. In late 2016, a series of mysterious symptoms began to plague U.S. diplomats stationed at the American Embassy in Havana, Cuba. It started subtly. Headaches, dizziness, and strange ringing in their ears. But soon the symptoms grew more alarming. Blurry vision, nausea, and an unshakable sense of unease. These weren't isolated incidents. Dozens of individuals, including family members, were affected. Doctors were stumped. Despite advancements in modern medicine, the root cause of these symptoms couldn't be identified, and the mystery only deepened. Could it be a new, unknown illness? Or was something far more sinister at play? Havana, the bustling capital of Cuba, had long been a symbol of cultural richness and historical resilience. From its colonial architecture to its vibrant streets, the city seemed like an unlikely setting for such a chilling tale. But in the shadow of its colorful facades, something dark was brewing. The first known case was a U.S. diplomat who reported debilitating headaches and hearing distorted sounds. It felt as if a powerful, invisible force was pressing down on him. Initially dismissed as overwork or stress, his symptoms persisted and worsened. Soon, others followed. Diplomats and their families began experiencing similar phenomena. Bizarre auditory disturbances described as grinding or metallic sounds that seemed to emanate from nowhere. Many felt intense ear pressure and were overwhelmed by an inexplicable sense of dread. Among the victims was a married couple, both U.S. diplomats. One night, after hearing strange noises in their home, they were hit with splitting headaches and a wave of nausea. The husband described it as being submerged in a storm of invisible sound, while his wife endured searing pain that lasted for weeks. Even their children weren't spared, complaining of dizziness and earaches after playing outside. What was happening to these people? And why couldn't anyone find a cause? As reports multiplied, U.S. officials launched a full-scale investigation. Theories ranged from sonic weapons to microwave radiation. Victims underwent brain scans and neurological tests, revealing signs of concussion-like trauma, but with no physical impact to the head. The FBI, CIA, and other intelligence agencies poured resources into uncovering the truth. But the deeper they dug, the more questions emerged. Was it an attack? A covert operation gone wrong? Or something entirely new? The phenomenon wasn't confined to Cuba. Similar cases began surfacing in China, Russia, and Europe. The U.S. accused Cuba of harboring a hostile agenda, but the Cuban government denied any involvement, even inviting FBI investigators to Havana to prove their innocence. Diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Cuba, already fragile, deteriorated. Embassy staff were recalled, and tensions soared as officials grappled with the enigma of Havana syndrome. With no concrete evidence, scientists and investigators turned to alternative explanations. One hypothesis suggested mass psychogenic illness, a psychological phenomenon where stress and fear manifest as physical symptoms. Critics, however, dismissed this idea, pointing to the neurological damage observed in victims. Another theory implicated advanced surveillance technology or directed energy weapons, potentially wielded by adversaries like Russia or China. But even these ideas lacked definitive proof. Years later, Havana syndrome remains one of the most perplexing modern mysteries. It has left victims struggling with lasting cognitive issues, while investigators are still piecing together the puzzle. Was it a targeted attack? An accidental exposure to experimental technology? Or simply a psychological anomaly born from high-stress environments? The world may never know. But one thing is certain. The story of Havana syndrome is far from over. The truth, like the sounds that haunted these diplomats, remains elusive. But as we unravel the layers of this mystery, one question lingers. What would you do if you heard the sound and couldn't make it stop?